heirloom seeds are the best because they have not been genetically modified or hybridized in any way, so every seed that the mature plant produces will produce another plant exactly like the parent plant. That means you can collect their seeds, dry them, and replant them indefinitely year after year after year, without ever buying seeds again. Just from that first packet. Scan this list of unique garden ideas to get a feel for what interests and excites you to grow, and consider your living space as well. If you're living in an apartment or townhome, you may have a sunny window where you can place a small windowsill herb garden. You may have a porch, rooftop, or balcony where you can place larger containers for a small fruit and veggie garden, or you may even have the option to join a community garden in your neighborhood. If you have a yard, whether small or large, you can carve out a part of it to grow anything from a small flower garden to a large vegetable garden, to replacing every inch of the grass and landscaping with edible plants, bushes, and trees. Plants native to your region are easier care, and they attract and support the widest assortment of birds, insects, and other critters, and help make up for wild habitat lost to human development. Dream big, but get started, even if it's just one plant this time round. Windowsill garden. For a windowsill garden, have fun selecting easy-to-grow herbs such as basil, thyme, and oregano, or plant a row of cactus and succulents. A row of lettuce and spinach can grow quite well on a partly sunny windowsill. There are also great windowsill flowers that are compact enough, such as geraniums and African violets. Remember that grounding stake you made in the winter? Now you can repurpose it for spring. With the grounding stake anchored in the earth outside, run the grounding cord inside and push the end of the grounding cord, with the alligator clip, into the soil of your potted plant, and your potted plant is grounded just as it would be if it were growing outside. Anytime you touch the soil or the plant in any way, you are grounded too. Porch garden. As with a windowsill garden, you'll want to run a grounding cord up to your porch if at all possible, so that your porch plants grow grounded and you will be grounded, too, whenever you are tending to your garden. But with a porch you have even more options to expand your garden, because almost anything you can dream to grow in a garden can be grown in containers as well. Some classic, easy-to-grow container garden plants include bush beans, carrots, cucumbers, dwarf lemon trees, kale, lettuce, spinach, strawberries, and tomatoes. Butterfly bee garden. If you have a little space in a yard, your options expand even further. Feel drawn to growing flowers? You will be helping to give the pollinators that we depend on for the success of our ecosystem a place to nourish and thrive, which is awesome. Pick some plants that attract your favorite pollinators like butterflies and bees, plants that are nectar and pollen rich, such as alyssum, Alstroemeria, aster, bee balm, coneflower, daisy, foxglove, heliotrope, hyacinth, lavender, marigold, phlox, and zinnia. If you have space for plants that butterfly larvae feed on, milkweed and fennel are host plants for several species. Adding a small dish of water or a bird bath supports your pollinators as well, as every living thing needs water too. Herb garden. If you have yard space you can have a full herb garden, especially wonderful for folks who like to cook, as it's hard to beat adding fresh herbs to your dishes. Walking through an herb garden, barefoot, of course, rubbing the leaves of the different plants between your fingers and smelling the different savory and sweet scents is a heavenly experience. The options are endless, but a good starting point might be any of these: basil, chives, cilantro, mint, oregano, parsley, rosemary, sage, and time. Medicinal garden. Another fun theme for a garden is to select plants that have medicinal uses. Most herbs with healing properties are also lovely to look at, with beautiful blooms that are so gorgeous no one will know that your garden is pulling double duty as an apothecary. Some great starter medicinal plants are aloe vera, arnica, calendula, chamomile, echinacea, lavender, lemon balm, street John's wort, tea tree, and valerian. Fragrance garden. If you are like my daughter and your favorite sensory organ is your nose, you may get excited about the idea of planting a fragrance garden. Although any flower whose scent you enjoy would count, some classic fragrances to consider include gardenia, honeysuckle, jasmine, lilac, lily of the valley, sweet alyssum, sweet pea, and of course the classic favorite, rose. Food-themed garden. Here is a great garden theme, especially if you have children who love to help cook. Getting kids involved in garden-to-table food production teaches them valuable lessons about how much work and resources go into creating food, and how precious it is to have something to eat. You can choose any type of food-based theme. Here are a few examples to get you started. 1. A burrito garden. Cilantro, cumin, black beans, onions, hot chili peppers, lettuce, tomatoes. 2. A snack garden. Foods to pick and eat as you walk through. Cherry tomatoes, sugar snap peas, carrots, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. 3. A pizza garden. Tomatoes, basil, oregano, onion, peppers, garlic. 4. A salad garden. Kale, lettuce, spinach, carrots, cucumbers, tomatoes, endive, radishes. Tea garden. There are few pleasures more simple and more satisfying than picking a few leaves or flowers from your garden and pouring hot water over them, steeping them, and then sipping your own homemade tea. I started growing mint in a container many years ago, and I have taken that one container with me every single time I have moved, because there is something so comforting to me about knowing that even if the world was going mad I could always make my own hot tea at any time. A tea garden is just as easy to grow as an herb garden, even though you don't hear as much about it. Some easy-to-grow plants for tea include chamomile, hibiscus, lavender, lemongrass, lemon verbena, peppermint, chocolate mint, spearmint, rose hips, and stevia. Centering practices for spring. The following guided healing meditation brings the deep awakening of a sprouting seed and the joyful expansion of blossoming blooms into every cell of your being. Spring Activity 5. Healing Meditation. Awakening to Bloom Method. Grounded in your chosen position, read through the meditation, or listen to it at http://www.newalbinger.com/44895. Once you have read through it or listened a few times, you can guide yourself on your own anytime. Lying comfortably outside on the ground, perhaps on a blanket or beach towel, allow a fingertip or the heel of your foot to drift over the edge of the blanket to touch the earth directly, grounding your body. Take several slow, deep breaths in, and slowly exhale them out. Close your eyes and center your awareness in your abdomen, in the center of your solar plexus, about in the center of your midriff. Feel down into the center of your very being, your internal core. Just as a seed contains the entire plant within it, including the blossom and fruit of the mature tree it will become, so do you have a core that contains every potential life path within you. You have the potential for growth in endless different ways by simply allowing the seed of life in your core to become rooted and expand. Find that center core. Find that seed that lies waiting to grow today. Do you feel a desire that you would like to plant, nurture, and grow to fruition this year? If so, focus on this desire within you, name the seed of this desire, and call it forth. As we cultivate the expansion of this seed throughout this meditation, feel the seed you selected to grow within your core spark to life with the urge to expand. This seed is embedded in the fertile soil of your body, and your soul energy is pouring through it, urging its expansion and growth. Bursting with life force and inspiration, the seed of your desire feels safe enough to begin to crack open. Feel the tender roots begin to reach outward, anchoring the seed firmly in place in your core. Feel the strength of these roots as they expand and grow with each breath, deeply securing a strong foundation for your inner growth to expand outward into manifestation in this world. You are stable and resilient and endlessly expansive. Your desire bursting forth has no need for the shell around the seed any longer, and it falls away. With strong roots, your seed completely uncurls and sends up the first leaves in unison with your roots growing down. The leaves feel so new and fresh and free. They continue to stretch and grow upward in freedom and possibility. Enjoy this beautiful feeling of reaching upward and out in all directions, as the roots continue to spiral down through you and into the earth below, and the seedling in your core unfurls upward, growing higher and higher and higher. You feel an awakening you have never felt before, a powerful and impressive expansion that only increases your energy and excitement. You feel the stem of your seedling growing stronger, getting taller, growing thicker and more mature, thriving in the open air and sunlight and carrying your soul spark up through the stem and out through the leaves. The stem begins branching off in as many different directions as it needs to fully expand, saturating every single leaf with nurturing sunlight. Branches reach up and out, growing taller with every breath. The plant you are growing from your core is thriving in every sense of the word. It is so strong, galvanized with your soul energy and pouring forth expressive energy. Buds can't help but appear all over the branches. It feels so good to feel the strong urge to bloom. Each bud is filled with potential, and each bud yearns to open, filled with your soul energy. Each bud is bringing your soul gifts and desires up into the light to be seen. When they can't wait another minute, the buds begin to blossom with fragrance and color. Flowers burst forth over all of the branches, with petals unfolding and spinning out in all directions. See each flower, see the color, feel the softness and sense the excitement while taking several deep slow breaths in, smelling the heavenly scent. You have manifested beauty and joy in this world. You have unlimited creative potential. Life cannot help but pour through you and out of you. Take time to allow the flowers to mature, to grow mature seeds within the center of each one. As you rest in knowing the seeds of your desire are joyfully manifested as an entire blossoming tree within you, you can feel the excitement build within the center of each flower now. Each flower contains seeds that hold more complete plants within them as well. There is no end to the cycle of desire and expression that you can repeat over and over again. You have put your unique soul energy forth in a cycle that will never end, only expanding outward further and further and further. You can fully relax, knowing you are a perennial that will express and manifest desires again and again and again. You will always have a seed to harvest, to plant in your deepest core and allow to unfold into vibrant full expression, and within that expression will blossom forth many more seeds of desire. Collect the seeds as they mature, and place them collectively in the core of your solar plexus, knowing that when you feel the internal pull to plant and grow another seed within you, you can repeat this process over and over and over again without end. Take several deep breaths again, As you hold a nurturing space for these seeds to blossom forth when their spring has come, feel the satisfying feeling of bringing something to fruition and holding a sacred space for the potential of your next desire. Know that there are endless supplies of seeds and equally endless ways to manifest and grow them. When you feel ready, open your eyes and stretch your arms overhead, taking a final deep cleansing breath and feeling fully renewed and aware of all of the power that is planted within your core. You feel richer and more expanded than before beginning this meditation. You feel grounded and full of potential at the same time. This is the power of spring. As you go about your day-to-day, keep your eyes open to see the world waking up and manifesting all around you, knowing you have the power to continually do this in your own life as well, planting any seed of desire in the rich soil of your core and feeding it with your soul energy. Your future can't help but unfold and manifest in a way that is a true expression of you. Creating practices, spring truly personifies the expression of inner creativity. While soaking in the support from the earth, there are endless opportunities to get messy and creative outside in a garden or with plants, so even if you are not an avid gardener, this spring you might consider becoming one. It's so much more than a fun way to get grounded. With this invaluable practice you'll experience the richness of life cycles, germination, annuals versus perennials, how to care for plants, watering and fertilizing, bug identification, how to collect heirloom seeds and the importance of heirloom seeds versus hybrid seeds, composting, cooking and nutrition from the fruits of your labor, canning, and more. Doing it all barefoot. Priceless. Spring Activity 6. Seed collecting. If you enjoy gardening, you'll take twice as much pride and twice as much pleasure in planting seeds that you've saved from your own garden. Propagating your own garden from your own seeds means you basically have a free garden, assuming that you use your own compost for fertilizer. So, if you see your lettuce bolt or discover an extra cucumber or two that is past its prime, you can turn these into a positive by saving the mature seeds inside. And beyond being able to continue to perpetuate and replant your seeds, if you use compost you've created to fertilize your soil, you literally are providing free, healthy, organic food for your family that feels so good. Another great reason to know how to save seeds is so that if called on to rely on local resources, you would know how to grow and propagate your own food source. Plus, it is eco-friendly, cutting down on the need to rely on, read, consume having seeds mailed to you, decreasing packaging and transportation consumption. Most folks who save seeds do it for all three reasons, and you can too. Materials. Mature garden plants, cool dark place to let seeds dry out. Any closet works. Methods. Here is where you will be so glad you invested in using heirloom quality seeds, because heirloom seeds means that they are pure seeds, not hybrids, and non-GMO, meaning you can take the seeds from the parent plant, replant them, and you will grow the exact same plant in the next generation. If you use hybrid or GMO seeds, because two or more plants were crossed to produce that product, the seeds they produce may give you one parent plant or the other or some variation in between. To save seeds, all you need to do is select a plant or two of each crop that you are going to allow to mature fully, and let them bolt. This means you allow the plant to live out its life cycle, to mature and produce flower heads of fully ripened fruits that are full of seeds. Then you harvest those seeds and let them dry for a few weeks before storing them in airtight containers and using them in the next growing season. If you save your favorite seeds each year, This will free up your budget to try out new heirloom seeds that you might have otherwise passed over. Keep your favorites going year after year, and add 1 or 2 new fun things to try. Here are the guidelines for a few common garden plants, and you'll soon see that the process for each is basically the same. Watermelon. Easiest seeds ever to harvest. Simply select a nice ripe melon, enjoy eating it, and pick out the most plump, black seeds, discarding any thin seeds and any immature white seeds. Line a cookie sheet with paper towels and spread the seeds out to dry. Allow to dry for about 2 weeks, flipping them once or twice. Once they are completely dry, store in an airtight container. Cucumber. This one is the second easiest. Just allow 1 or 2 fruits to go all the way past the eating stage to the fully ripe, huge yellow cucumber stage. If you are like me, you'll do this accidentally anyway, as I always find one hidden that's already turned yellow. Allowing the fruit to fully ripen will tell the vine to stop producing fruit. So do this only to a vine near the end of the growing season. Find the largest, fattest seeds, rinse them off, and let them dry on a cookie sheet lined with paper towels for about 3 weeks, turning them once or twice. Once they are completely dry, store in an airtight container. Corn. Again, so easy. Allow the ears to fully mature and even dry right on the stalk, or pick the mature ears off and remove the husk, to prevent mold, and allow the seeds to dry right on the cob on a dark, cool shelf somewhere. Once they are dry, use your thumb to shell the kernels right off the cob. After you get a few off, the rest just pop off right on down the line. Spread these out on a cookie sheet. Continue to allow them to dry for another 2 weeks or so. Then store. Tomatoes. Let several tomatoes fully ripen on the vine to a deep rich color. Harvest the seeds by placing them and the gelatinous pulp in a bowl of water, and let it sit overnight. The next day, the seeds will have sunk to the bottom and the pulp will float. Allow the seeds to dry on a cloth or paper towels for a few days. Then transfer them to a cookie sheet for another week or 2. Once they are fully dry, store in an airtight container. Greens, lettuce, spinach, kale, herbs. Allow the plants you would like to harvest to bolt. This is easy for me, because I always have several plants that start to bolt right in front of my eyes, despite my best efforts to keep up with harvesting. Whenever you find a plant that has bolted, or you discover an overripe tomato, cucumber, or melon hidden in your garden, you are already halfway to having the seeds for your next garden. Just scoop them up and harvest. For greens, watch the plants that are bolting. After the flowers turn to seed heads, just snip the heads and lay them out to dry. Once dry, rub the seeds from the husks into a pan. Dry for another week or so in the pan, then transfer to an airtight container to store. Carrots and onions. These biennial plants take 2 years to develop seeds. This is even easier, because you can do nothing but let a few mature plants winter over in place in the garden and wait for them to bolt the following year. If you live in a very cold zone, just lay a mulch on top of the plants to protect them during the winter. Next year, allow the plants to shoot up a flowering stalk, and watch for the seed heads to form. Process as with the green seeds. I save each seed type and my mixed lettuce seeds in marked envelopes, and then fold all the envelopes up into one large quart-sized airtight glass canning jar to save for use the next year. Spring Activity 7. Bird Identification. Spring is a magical time to go bird watching, as they are very active in choosing territories, nesting, and raising chicks. If you have a bird feeder or bird bath to observe, You can find birds with very little effort. Dawn and dusk are great times for bird watching, as birds tend to be more active just after sunrise and just before sunset. As you get more and more into birding, you may find a whole new world out there waiting for you as you feel the victory of sighting a bird you have waited patiently to see. Plan out-of-state trips trying to track down rare birds that are not local to you, or join up with local birding clubs to make like-minded new friends. Materials: binoculars, optional, but they really make all the difference. Start with a light, inexpensive pair with good optics. Camera, optional. Bird reference guides, journal. Methods: head outside to birdwatch in the first 2 hours after sunrise, or just before sunset. If you have a bird feeder to observe, settle in outdoors grounded nearby. Many folks like to document the birds they see by taking a picture or keeping a running list in a journal. Be as quiet as possible. Birds scare easily and will leave before you've had a chance to identify them. Likewise, avoid sudden movements that will scare off your birds. Be patient, as there are usually many more birds in an area than you think there are. When you've been quiet a while, they gain confidence and go about their business. Spring Activity 8. Insect Identification. I love this one. Keep a good bug reference book and a magnifying glass nearby and go on a grounded bug hunt. Not only is this wonderful fun each spring, but if you think you hate bugs, this practice will help you not to be scared of the wild natural world. Materials: insect reference book, journal. Methods: walk barefoot outdoors as often as possible through the spring, and keep a running list of bugs you see. It's smart to know which insects are unusual and uncommon so you can be careful around them and look them up to know more. Everyone should know what black widow and brown recluse spiders look like, for example, and how to differentiate them from their harmless and beneficial spider cousins, like a daddy longlegs or a house spider. It's also a great idea to know what a tick looks like and what to do if you find one. See Chapter 8 for more on this. Spring Activity 9. Register your space as a certified wildlife refuge. It's easier than you think to turn any land or yard you care for into a wildlife habitat. There are 4 components. 1. Your habitat should provide 3 forms of food for wildlife. It can be as simple as hanging a bird feeder, a hummingbird feeder, and a squirrel feeder, but trees and garden plants that produce nectar, seeds, and fruit all count as well. 2. Your habitat needs one clean water source, such as a bird bath or butterfly puddling area. 3. Your habitat needs 2 places for wildlife to find shelter and similarly, 2 places for them to raise their young, such as a nesting box, birdhouse, evergreens or mature trees. Even a pile of rocks or shrubs counts. 4. You must tend to your area using sustainable practices, such as mulching, using an irrigation hose or rainwater, growing native plants, composting, and eliminating chemical pesticides and fertilizers. Then fill out an online form describing your space and submit a small application fee to become certified by the National Wildlife Federation. Many states have their own certification program. You can do both. As NWF encourages on their website, anyone can create a welcoming haven for local wildlife. Turning your yard, balcony, container garden, schoolyard, work landscape, or roadside green space into a certified wildlife habitat. Registered is fun, easy, and can make a lasting difference for wildlife. You can also purchase a sign to let neighbors know you are supporting wildlife. Welcome questions, and share your experience to encourage them to do the same. Moving practices. In the spring, It's easy to find ways to get moving outdoors in ways that will get your blood circulating and give your conductive health a boost. We have Earth Day, and there are many awesome activities that allow us to get moving and grounded on this beautiful planet of ours, while celebrating and caring for our earthly home. Here are a few of my favorites to get you started. It's awe-inspiring to realize that the earth gives us everything tangible that we need to survive, and she does so very generously, growing trees that pour out oxygen into the atmosphere, growing food, water flowing through a beautiful regenerative cycle, and a physical anchor for our homes, our cars, our workspaces, even for our own 2 feet to rest, providing habitats for wildlife, exotic places to explore, daily displays of grandeur that break through our routine and remind us we are part of something much bigger here. Things as common as the sunrise and sunset, a rainbow, a snowflake, sights as breathtaking as the northern lights, the peaks of mountaintops, the beautiful valleys in between, the depths of canyons. A great commitment to make on Earth Day, this year and every year, is to spend an afternoon picking up litter in your spot on this world. Spring Activity 10. Litter pickup, from your local sidewalk, park, town square, or neighborhood. Head out to make this world a safer place in which to walk barefoot. Supplied with a biodegradable trash bag and some protective gloves, if desired. Pick up all the plastic bottles, cigarette butts, food wrappers, foam cups, glass bottles, and aluminum cans that litter a typical roadside, with microplastic debris, the result of plastic litter breaking up in our oceans over time, being found in every corner of the world, even in Antarctica's water samples. Every piece of litter you pick up is a piece that you stop from entering our oceans and, ultimately, our food chain. Materials: a biodegradable trash bag, rubber gloves, optional. Method: spend any time you can, even 10 minutes counts, walking around your yard, your neighborhood sidewalks, your local park, the exterior of your workplace, or anywhere else you find yourself today, with an eye out for a garbage that you can pick up and safely dispose of or recycle. This is something you can do year-round, but is particularly important to do in the spring to prep your grounding spaces for safely going barefoot all spring and summer long. Challenge yourself to find 1 dozen, then 2 dozen, then 3 dozen items each time you go litter hunting. Spring Activity 11. Rain Dance. It's hard to fully surrender to dancing in the rain. Feeling your hair and clothes get wet brings up immediate feelings of embarrassment and an urge to run inside and avoid getting wet at all costs, because of the conditioning we've been told over the years. But watch a young child, watch a toddler gaze up at the sky in wonder and delight when it starts to rain. They have an immediate and natural urge to stretch their hands out, to tilt their head upward to greet the rain, to start laughing and twirling, to seek out puddles to jump in. It's very natural for human beings to feel immense joy and freedom well up inside of us when it rains, as the earth's soils are quenched and spring plants get a boost of life-giving hydration. Rain is a relief and a promise that the cycle of life continues, and that spring seedlings will ultimately lead to plants and food sources that nurture us and the animals that share the earth with us. If we can let down our garden, surrender to the joy of rain, even abandon ourselves to it, we can receive a deep healing on many levels. We feel intimately connected to the earth when we playfully allow ourselves to get as soaked as the ground around us. Even better, the moisture on our bare feet ensures that our conductive contact to the earth is strong. Every moment you stand on the earth barefoot in the falling rain is a moment you are powerfully grounded. Materials: rain towel. Method: caution. Do not go outside during thunderstorms. You do not want to be outdoors connected to the earth if there is any possibility of a lightning strike. But during spring, there are lots of light rainfalls that beckon you to join in the fun outside. Forgo the umbrella and let the warm rain run over you. Play, dance, run, wander, or just stand there, listening to it all. You can't do it wrong if you simply kick off your shoes and connect to the earth and let your movements and curiosity take over. After you are done, head inside to wrap in a towel, change into dry clothes, and make a cup of tea. You've just fully nourished your body inside and out, combining play, movement, grounding, and water together in one healing session. You may come to enjoy being grounded and dancing in the rain so much that every time it starts to sprinkle, you see it as free therapy waiting for you outside. Spring Activity 12. Berry Picking. In the spring, U-Pick farms start offering fresh strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, and more, depending on your growing region, just waiting to be picked by you and enjoyed. One weekend this season, find a local U-Pick farm and go berry picking. Slip off your shoes while you are picking your treasures, or simply know that every time you touch a leaf or a berry as you pick it, you are grounding right through your hands. Once you have your haul, head home, and be sure to include fresh berries in as many meals and snacks as possible, and fill up your freezer with bags full, because there are so many amazing health benefits to berries. They have been found to protect against age-related brain changes, decrease heart disease, decrease inflammation in the digestive tract, protect eye health, decrease risk of metabolic syndrome, 60, and provide cancer preventive benefits. Materials: U-Pick Berry Farm. Method: spend an afternoon at your favorite U-Pick farm, collecting your favorite berries, barefoot, of course. Spend at least 30 minutes grounded while you pick berries to enjoy all season long. Once you are home, rinse them, and eat daily. Refrigerate or freeze whatever you don't eat right away, as these are delicate fruits. Just consuming a small amount of berries daily can hugely benefit your body's ability to age well, decrease your lifetime cancer and heart attack risk, and boost your brain resiliency. So start off the day with berries as toppings for waffles, pancakes, yogurt, or oatmeal, or add them to muffins and baked goods.